Good morning, students. Welcome to our online class. Students, today we are going to read one of the important chapter from book 1, that is Contemporary World Politics. From that book, today we are going to read one of the important chapter, that is International Organizations. International Organizations. Generally, in the old book it is chapter 6, but this year, as per the modified syllabus, this chapter number is 5. So today we are going to read chapter 5, International Organizations, from the book Contemporary World Politics. Now students, in this chapter we are going to read the role of international organizations after the collapse of Soviet Union. After the collapse of Soviet Union, what is the role played by international organizations? Actually, UNO is one of the international organization, only one. Many are there, but I am citing one example. UNO, it was formed before in 1945, but the Cold War was ended in 1991. Okay, so but in this chapter we will read the role played by international organizations after the collapse of Soviet Union. We shall also examine how in this emerging world there were calls for the restructuring of international organizations to cope with the various new challenges. That means there are several problems in the world, and how these challenges are, or how these problems are being solved by the international organizations. So I repeat, we shall also examine how in this emerging world there were calls for the restructuring of the international organizations to cope with the various new challenges, including the US power, United States power. Moreover, in this chapter we will also read that there is a need to reform United Nations Organization's Security Council. Okay, I mean, why there is a need to reform the Security Council, which is one of the organ of UNO. Moreover, we will also then turn to India's role in UNO and why India also demanded to reform the Security Council, also to increase the permanent members and non-permanent members in Security Council. The chapter closes by asking one question: if the UN can play any role in dealing with the world dominated by the superpower. In this chapter we also look at some other transnational organizations that are playing a crucial role in the world. So this is the overview of the chapter, students. Now our first topic is today's topic is, that is, why international organizations. I mean, why there's need of international organizations in the world? What is the reason? What is the reason behind which we need to have international organizations? So before knowing for what we need these organizations, let me give some introduction. Students, in the textbook here two cartoons are there. 1 and 2. Two cartoons are there. So first read the two cartoons on the page given. Both the cartoons comment on the ineffectiveness. Both the cartoons gives information about the ineffectiveness of the United Nations organization, usually referred as UN. I mean, it is United Nations organization only is called UN. So this both the cartoons shows the ineffectiveness of UNO. In the Lebanon crisis, Lebanon is a country, Lebanon crisis in 2006. That means in 2006, Israel, one of the country, the most powerful country, nuclear powerful country, attacked on Lebanon. Then what happened? See. So Lebanon crisis in 2006. Both cartoons represent the kind of opinions that we often hear about the UN. Generally, what is the work of UN? To maintain world order, to maintain peace, to provide security, to promote mutual cooperation among all the countries, to achieve disarmament in the world and peaceful coexistence of all the nations. For this purpose, we have formed the UNO. So these two cartoons represents the kind of opinions that we often hear about UN. On the other hand, we also find that the UN is generally regarded as the most important international organization. There are many other international organizations are there. Okay, but the most important is what? UNO. In today's world, it is the most important international organization. What? UNO. In the eyes of many people all over the world, it is indispensable. Which cannot be separated, and represents the great hope of humanity for peace and progress. That means people want this international organization to have peace and progress of the world. Why do we then need organizations like UNO? That is the question. Why do we need such international organizations like UNO? Let us hear two insiders. Listen students, this statement, very very important. United Nations was not created to take humanity to heaven. This organization was not created because to take humanity to the heaven, but to save the humanity from the hell. Okay, to save the humanity from the going into the hell, it was formed, but not formed to take us to the heaven. This quote was given by Dag Hammarskjöld. Dag Hammarskjöld was the UN Secretary General at that time. Okay, now UNO is also called as what? Talking shop. UNO also called what? The talking shop. Why UNO is called the talking shop? Yes, there are a lot of speeches and debates, meetings are held at UN, especially during their annual meetings. That means every year there will be the annual meetings held in UNO. In that annual meetings, lot of debates, discussions and speeches are given. That's what is called the talking shop. Where the UN meeting is held regularly? They were held in the General Assembly, which is one of the organ of UNO, the first and foremost organ of UNO. That is General Assembly. In the General Assembly, the meetings are held. Now, but as Churchill, here Churchill means what? Winston Churchill is from Britain. But as Churchill put a Jaw, J-A-W, Jaw is better than war. Winston Churchill said that Jaw is better than war. That means, isn't it better to have one place where all countries in the world can get together, bore each other, bore each other, than sometimes with words rather than they bore holes into each other on the battlefield. Churchill said that it is better to have one common place where all the countries can sit and discuss, though they are boring each other, rather than digging holes against each other in the battlefield. So he always supported what? UNO. This quote was written by Shashi Tharoor, our Indian. He is the former Secretary General for Communication and Public Information, Shashi Tharoor. These two quotes, one is given by Winston Churchill, one is given by Dag Hammarskjöld and the other is given by Shashi Tharoor. So these two quotes suggest something important. Okay, international organizations are not the answer to everything. I mean, for any problem or everything problem, international organizations are not the solution, but they are at the same time they are important. I mean, for any cause, international organizations are not the solution, but at the same time they are important. Okay, now today I will tell you why there is a need for international organizations. Why there is a need for international organizations? The question is why international organizations? Okay, see, international organizations are those which are working at world level. They are working at international level. They work for the entire world community, such as UN, World Bank, IMF, etc. etc. So, and among all, this UN is the most important one. International organizations are necessary for the following reasons. For the following reasons. Number one, these international organizations, anyone, either UN or anyone, these international organizations help with matters of war and peace. That means this international organization helps in preventing the world from the future wars, stop the wars in the world in future, and also responsible to establish peace in the world. They also help countries cooperate to make better living conditions for all of us. I mean, the another aim of UNO is that this international organization always aims to cooperate all the countries. I mean, it urges all the countries to cooperate each other so that we can establish better living conditions for all of us. Okay, so mutual cooperation among all the countries is another one. Now, second, an international organization is not a super state. It's not a super state like any country. An international organization is not a super state with authority over its members. It's not a super state with authority on its members. It is created by all. It is created by all and responds to all the states. These international organizations are created by all and responsible to all the states. It comes into being when states agreed to its creation. I mean, when all the states, when all the nations agreed, signed the charter, then only such international organizations will come into existence. Now, next third point. International organizations are helpful in another way. How they are helpful in another way? Nations can usually see that there are some things they must do together. I mean, there are certain things in the world which cannot be done by a single nation, single state. Those things can be done jointly with the cooperation of all the countries. So, there are many challenges in the world which cannot be dealt by a single nation, single state. It has to be dealt with joint action by all the countries. For that purpose, international organizations are very, very essential. For example, to fight against the global terrorism. One, to fight against the global warming. To fight against some of the epidemic diseases. So, these problems, three problems cannot be dealt by a single nation or single state. It has to fight jointly by all the nations with their cooperation. So, if we have international organization, a group of countries, so all the nations together jointly they can fight with these problems. Okay, next one, fourth point. An international organization can help to produce information and ideas about how to cooperate. One more important thing. International organizations always helps us in providing the information and also ideas. If a country lives in isolation without joining any international organization, they will not get any new ideas or not get any information regarding the world. So to get the information regarding the world about all the countries and ideas, we need to have international organizations. So international organizations also helps in what? Providing information and ideas to all the countries that how to cooperate, etc., etc. So these are the reasons for which we need to have international organizations. Students, unfortunately, recognizing the need for cooperation and the actual cooperation are two different things. I repeat, students, need for cooperation and actual cooperating, need for cooperation and actual cooperating, both are two different things. Nations can recognize the need to cooperate. Nations can recognize the need to cooperate, but cannot always agree on how best to do so. How to share the cost of cooperating. How to make sure that the benefits of cooperating are justly divided. And how to ensure that others do not break their end of the bargain and cheat on an agreement. An international organization can help produce information and ideas about how to cooperate. That's why these international organizations are very, very essential. It can provide mechanisms, techniques, methods, rules and bureaucracy to help members have more confidence that costs will be shared properly, that the benefits will be fairly divided, and that once a member joins an agreement, it will honor the terms and conditions of the agreement. With the end of the Cold War and after the break of UN, after the break of Soviet Union, with the end of Cold War, we can see that the UN may have a slightly different role. As the United States of America and its allies emerged victorious in the World War II, there was concern amongst many governments and peoples that the Western countries led by the US would be so powerful that their wishes and desires. Can the UN serve to promote dialogue and discussion with the US in particular, and could it limit the power of the American government? We shall try to answer these questions at the end of this chapter. Now move to the second topic, the United Nations Organization. The evolution of UNO. The evolution of UN. Students, this international organization UNO was evolved or came into existence on 24th October 1945. 24th October 1945 is the date when UNO officially came to existence. Before it came to existence, actually the idea of forming the international organization UNO was evolved during the World War II. Since 1943 onwards, the Allied countries, they thought to have an international organization which will prevent the world from the future scourge of war, fear of war. So during the World War II only, the idea of forming the UNO came to existence. And soon after the end of the war, all the countries met first at Dumbarton Oaks. They agreed, and later on they met at San Francisco. And at San Francisco, the UN Charter, the UN document was signed with 51 members. Initially there were 51 members in UNO, 51, the initial members UNO at the time of formation. So they signed, and officially it came to existence on 24th October 1945. That is the UN Day we are celebrating every year. Okay, so first meeting, Dumbarton Oaks, which is in USA. Second meeting, the UN Charter came into existence, signed by 51 delegates all over the world. And finally, on 24th October 1945, it came into existence. But the idea for formation of this UNO was evolved during the World War II by the Allied powers. Students, I will say something here. After World War I, also one international organization was formed that is called League of Nations. League of Nations, 1919, to prevent the world from the future wars. But it was failed miserably. That League of Nations was failed miserably. Hence, the Second World War took place. But again, after Second World War, one more international organization was formed, that is what UNO. And so far, we are having that one. So far, it helped in maintaining the world from the future wars. We have no Third World War yet. So I can say, League of Nations was the gift of World War I, and United Nations Organization was the gift of World War II. Like that also we can say. Now, students, the First World War encouraged the world to invest in an international organization to deal with the conflict. Many believed that such an organization would help the world to avoid wars. As I told now, after World War I, many countries agreed to form an international organization which helps to prevent the world from the future wars. As a result, the League of Nations was born. However, despite its initial success, initially League of Nations was successful, but later on it became ineffective, defunct, because many of its members, the founder members, have withdrawn their membership. They have not played their active role. Many reasons are there for that one. It could not prevent the Second World War because it became defunct. Hence, it could not prevent the Second World War. And Second World War took place from 1939 to 1945. Many more people died in the World War II and wounded in the war than ever before. The United Nations was founded as a successor of the League of Nations. I can say, who is the successor of League of Nations? United Nations Organization. It was established in 1945, 24th October 1945, immediately after the World War II. Second World War. The organization was set up through signing of the United Nations Charter by 51 delegates. Already I told you. It tried to achieve what the League of Nations could not able to achieve. The United Nations objective is to prevent international conflict. I repeat, what was the main objective of UN or UNO? To prevent the international conflicts, international wars or fighting among the nations, and to facilitate cooperation among states, to promote mutual cooperation among all the countries. It was founded with the hope that it would act to stop the conflicts between states and escalating into the war. And if war broke out, suppose if the war breaks out, then also it will try to limit the extent of hostilities. Furthermore, since conflicts often arose from the lack of social and economic development, the UN was intended to bring countries together to improve the prospects of social and economic development all over the world. By 2006, the UN had 193. According to 2006, there were 193 member countries. So at 2006, the member countries are 193 in UNO. This included almost all independent states. In the UN General Assembly, all the member countries are having their membership. Each member have one vote. In the UN General Assembly, all the members have one vote each. In the UN Security Council, there are 5 permanent members. In the UN Security Council, there are 5 permanent members like America, Britain, China, France, Russia, ABCFR. America, Britain, China, France, Russia. These are the 5 permanent members of UNO in the Security Council, which is the important organ of UNO, that is Security Council. So 5 permanent members are there, and these 5 permanent members are having the veto power. Here veto power is what? The power to reject any bill. The power to reject any bill passed by the UN General Assembly.